you've all been waiting for, Bigfoot.
This is the one everybody comes to see, and indeed, still the reigning king of the monster truck world. I'll tell you, Shelley, there's no question this truck has had some competition come up through the ranks in the last few weeks. In the preliminaries, as we pointed out, Freddie Schaefer in the Barefoot Chevrolet was right on Bigfoot's tail. Here's the green flag for the most famous Ford in the world. The official hit for Kenny Kelling. The driver lands hard now, makes the turn beautifully.
He made the turn with the greatest of ease. Crosses the finish line on a phenomenal ride. And Kelly, a little bit of smoke out from the carburetors there. You can see as the hood comes up. The crews are down there. Let's see if we can check out the damage here. Now just a little bit of smoke from the back of the engine. They had that problem with the valve cover gasket during preliminaries. And indeed, that may just be a recurring problem. Nothing serious, no fire extinguishers needed. Look at the hit on the slow-mo replay. Straight up in the air and landing with the traditional Bigfoot crunch. Kenny Kelling behind the wheel has taken a beating, Shelley. The elapsed time, the quickest of the first round, 18.42 seconds for Kenny Kelling in the Bigfoot Ford. That will put him in the lead. The Barefoot Chevrolet of Freddie Schaefer is back on the starting line after declining his first run around the track, which was actually only 0.08 of a second slower than Bigfoot. Freddie Schaefer has said, I'll come back and do even better. Here's his chance to do just that. You know, a lot of people name their trucks after their loved ones, and I think that Fred's named them after two loved ones that nobody would argue with. His two black bears named Sugar and Spice.
Right. He's relining the truck up in the starting line, but yes, it's very true. That's where the name of this truck came from. When he built his very first Chevrolet monster truck, he actually used to carry the two black bears, Sugar and Spice, around in the bed of the truck. It was incredibly popular, and he still has them on his property in Granite City, Illinois, on the eastern shores of the Mississippi across from St. Louis. Freddie Schaefer is taking his time lining this truck up. It is obvious, Shelley, that he wants the perfect line at these first hit of cars, or first line of cars, I should say. He wants to waste no time in getting over them.
Well, there's the green.
Way up in the air. Schaefer lands hard, makes the turn awfully tight, too tight, and spins it out in the first round. Schaefer heads for the car sideways in the air. And almost he is in the mud pit. I don't believe it.
I can't believe it. He's keeping it moving. He's getting out of it. And there he crosses the finish line.
But there's a classic example, Shelley, of a situation where Freddie said he would not accept his first pull, which was only 0.08 of a second slower than Bigfoot's best, and then came back and will now have to accept an obviously slower time. So Bigfoot takes the first round. Look at this sideways hit over the second set of cars, Shelley.
Well, you just see it head right for the bog, and there's nothing he can do about it because those front wheels are off the ground.
That's right. You can't steer it when the front end's 15 feet in the air. Here's the elapsed time, 28.17 seconds. I tell you, we got some brave officials out there, don't we? Those guys just stand there and watch. They don't care.
I don't think they had a choice.
We'll be back with more action from the Pittsburgh Civic Arena in just a moment. We're already out of the picture, at least in the first round of time run action. The one and only Bigfoot will go into the final round. And now as we start the second round of competition, everybody but Bigfoot will have a chance to grab the lowest elapsed time in this round and move to that final championship bout with the Big Blue Ford from St. Louis. Jesse Berg from Wyoming, Michigan, with his brand new plan for Keith Chevrolet up for his second run. Carbureted gas-burning Chevy takes a hard hit on the first set of cars. Swinging around with a 15-foot turning radius. Underneath that 12-foot wide Chevrolet, the 17,000-pound machine bounces all over the place, gets back on the throttle and crosses the finish line. Still, this young man in his first ever national event, Shelley, is one of the strongest you'll ever see. You can see him stepping out for the applause of the crowd now.
Yeah, take him out.
A great game. Just for Keith, playing for Keith.
On the second set of cars here in the slow motion replay, you can see the machine completely airborne, but it landed a little short of the last car, and that caused this wild bounce, Shelley.
Ooh, look at him go over.
I'll tell you, the elapsed time, 19.38 seconds, is only less than a second slower than Bigfoot's best.
Back again is Sampson, driven by Dan Patrick. Remember, this is the first time he's ever driven a monster truck coming from a professional drag race
racing background. I got to tell you, that's a real pretty-looking truck.
I'll tell you, Don Maples out of Alabama, the Samson line of Chevrolets that he's had over the years have always been one of the absolute favorites with the Chevy fans. For that matter, with any fans. Mainly because of the workmanship that you pointed out, Shelley. These things are always immaculate, whether it's the paint, the chrome treatment, or even just the general assembly of the frame and the engine itself. They are always absolutely immaculate pieces of equipment. And we saw Dan in the first round take a pretty hard launch over that first set of cars. He has really yet, in his first night of competition, even in the preliminaries, to make a full run all the way around full throttle. Maybe this will be the one he's looking for, Shelley.
Well, they're almost ready for him.
He's about ready to jump on that lot.
Dan Hodson.
There he goes.
Into the first set of cars. Completely airborne, hard launch, but Dan's not going to get out of the throttle. This is a lot different than making a 200-foot pole in a multi-engine tractor. There's no question. Dan actually makes a good turnaround, a little sideways, but now makes the second hit of cars, bouncing all over the place. Lands very nicely and takes it across the finish line. That's the best run he's had yet, Shell.
You know, I noticed that just as he was getting ready to crush the second group of cars, he really seemed to get his speed up.
That was one of the first times that he actually made the turn correctly, I should say. And you can't blame the guy. It takes a long time to learn how to operate one of these trucks. As you can see on the slow-mo replay, the initial hit kind of came down. The nose came down very quickly, and that created that bounce situation that you see. He finally got all four wheels down on the ground. Dan wasn't afraid to nail the throttle again. Like we said before, though, you have to give this guy credit. After years of making truck and tractor pull passes, this guy's driving experience coming into this event consisted of him driving it off the trailer. 21.05 seconds. For the Ford fans, the young man we talked about earlier, Mike Vodders out of Hagerstown, Maryland, a little town in the center part of the state, well known for 75-80 dragway and a couple of some of the strongest circle tracks in the eastern seaboard. Mike Vodders' beautiful black stallion Ford, Shelley, I think you'll agree, is one of the cleanest monster trucks you will ever see.
You know, I saw them outside earlier, and it rained a little bit. They were out there cleaning it up. I don't think it was just for the fans. I think it was for their own sense of pride.
It was very much a great analogy. Pride is the name of the game of Michael Vodders, whether it's in the appearance or the performance of this truck. Using a cast iron production Ford motor, Black Stallion, a tremendous launch over the first set of cars. This young man wants a spot in the final round against Bigfoot more than anything. Makes the turn nicely, brings it up to the second set of cars. Another tremendous launch, a little sideways landing, bouncing around
What
the
a
cockpit.
great run!
Man, you can't beat that kind of performance. The crowd obviously responding to that kind of showmanship.
Yeah!
And Mike responding right back. There's a smile on that face underneath that Simpson
Oh,
helmet.
I can see the smile with the helmet on.
That's right. Mike has got to be happy with that. The elapsed time to beat in this round still 19.38 seconds by Jesse Berg's beautiful Playing for Keeps Chevrolet. And here's the elapsed time, 18.22 seconds. On the slow-mo, you can see this second hit, Shelley, one of the hardest of the event. Mike leaning out the window, never even thinks about lifting off the throttle.
Well, he's sure hanging on to the rearview mirror over there, too.
Well, you can see on that bounce, that thing was almost out of control. Look at him being thrown around in the cockpit. But listen to the crowd. The quickest elapsed time of the event, 18.22 seconds. Shelley, that is 0.2 of a second quicker than even Bigfoot ran in the first round.